Welcome back. This is MDog, and I'm looking here at this. I think I want to set up for red krill pellets and salmon 20. I'm really curious about this. It looks like people are still. Let's see. What are we wanting to do here? It's not corn. That's because it's not pop-up. It's classic. But it's just interesting to me that we're still fishing the same spot. I mean, I've been away from amber, working on the leveling guide for so long. Which, by the way, I'm still going to do at least some more on the leveling guide. I don't think we're completely done. If you are trying to figure out what's going on with that, I'm still hoping to get a little bit more time in. We'll see. But I wanted to come try this. This 83 spot again. Just kind of see how it feels for me. It's funny because like this spot's been going forever, it seems like, right? And I wonder if they're doing, I bet they're doing krill, right? Krill dip. That's what I'm going to guess. And we're going to have to come up with a PVA. But let's get all of our rods set up first. I'm going to go 1-0 hooks. It looks like, again, there's a lot of variety. This spot's it's been fished for so much now. Notice we did red krill 18 on the first. And we're going to do, we did 25 on the first. We're going to do 18 on 2 and 3, though. I have no idea what kind of bite rate this will be. It might be just slow enough to drive me crazy. I'm not sure. This is a pretty big setup approach that we're doing. So I don't know if people are like, if it's active enough for expecting just to show up and get bites, or if people are just kind of sitting there waiting. So we're doing krill and salmon, right? You'd think we'd want to focus on krill first. Maybe all krill? Or do we want to throw some salmon in there? I really have no idea what people are doing with the ground bait approach. Sorry, I'm just kind of thinking through this. Is there a... Yeah, so we could use an attractant, red krill. Let's just go krill. So that's 1, 2, 3. I guess we'll do this one. 4, and then this. Okay, I think that's going to be good. All right, let's just get out there and cast. I have noticed that people are using more of a 35 clip lately instead of the 30, which that's also kind of interesting. I'll try that out. Still casting in the same direction and all that, but a little different clip. So we'll give it a go. Just see if we can catch anything. Looks like some really nice frames are coming out, really nice commons, still some decent rare carp. But again, I don't know how long people are kind of having to wait to get some of these different fish. So, I mean, I figured, hey, we can get started in the overnights, and then by the time it's morning, hopefully things will be nice and worked up and ready to go. All right, so this is a krill. We're gonna go cornflower, and we're just gonna go all krill. I'm still a little bit undecided if I want to do the black krill or the dried krill. Part of me is wanting to do the dried, at least on this one. Okay, I like it. Now let's get our rods in the water. I typically aim just right of that thing. I don't. Again, I'm not sure what people have been doing, but let's give it a try. And we'll see what the bite rate is. I mean, the far left rod does have those really big pellets on there. That was the perfect cast. So, if anything, the far left rod could be a little bit slow. But with the size of the salmon boilies, it could all be slow. I don't know. But we'll just give it a little while. See if we can catch something nice for the video. But man, like all kinds of good fish. Seems like they've been caught here. I would be curious to translate some of these PVAs. I'm just curious what people are actually using. I haven't taken the time to translate the PVAs, and I don't think I'm going to, at least not tonight. But it definitely feels like folks have settled in a little bit on the... So let's see, what should we look at? Common carp on the bait combination. Just seeing a lot of this, right? Salmon purple. Imagine having salmon purple corn in and catching a 37 kilo common carp. And then the other thing is frames, showing up on frame-sideds. Ghost, frame-sided ghost. And then I also saw it on these. And maybe on other carp as well. Yeah, I mean, it just looks like... Look at this. It's what the carp are coming in on this week. At least so far. It's early. So whenever we do stop the leveling guide, I've said this before, but I'll say it again here, on Russian Fishing 4, my plan is to still travel amongst waterways. In fact, something I've been thinking about doing, because I haven't done it in a long time, is just spending like making a couple of videos just per map and talk about some of the gear that I like to use at those maps, ways of approaching some of the spots or types of fishing that I enjoy doing there the most. So we'll see. We'll see kind of how that idea comes, if it comes to fruition. But I thought that might be fun to focus in on maps individually. And, of course, there's some maps that it'd be harder for me. I'd have to do more research, like Ladoga, like old Ladoga. I'm not the best person to talk about. I've fished for char some. I have maybe fished for the big, whatever kind of sturgeon or whatever in the waters there once or twice. But again, there's just some maps that I've had a lot more experience in compared to others. But we'll see. It's sort of an extension of the leveling guide, since I don't want to keep like grinding it out on an account that I'm not going to play long term past Volkov or whatever. But to still give that idea for folks who are leveling and do get, to bear for the first time, Volkov for the first time, and let's see, what would be next? So, this is kind of where I typically stop a leveling guide. Actually, usually I stop it about the time I hit Quarry, right? But the longer ones, like the one I'm doing right now, we stop it around the time we get to Bear or Volkov. So it might be interesting to look at Seversky, Sura. Again, Ladoga I'm not the best for. I could do an updated, beginner's guide to Amber. It has been a while. The new place, Tuba, Tunguska. I'm probably not the best for Yama. Yama and me haven't ever spent a lot of time hanging out, but I've fished there some, I guess. So this is our third fish. All three have come from, well, two of them from this rod and one of them from the middle rod. So still no bites yet on the far left rod. With the giant pellets on there. It looks like a mirror. So let me know what PVA you've been using here, if you're doing that, if you've been fishing this spot. Just curious kind of what the approaches have been. I feel like these are the krill salmon approach. I've noticed it for the last few days, it seems like. I'm hoping we'll catch something like reasonably sized here. you know, around that 6, 7, 8 a.m. spot. That's probably where we'll try to wrap this up, is once we've hit, you know, past that like time frame where a lot of times that's where the carp up around 16, 18, or even larger tend to come in. I wonder if the mirror records are here or at Bear right now. All amber and all these baits. Same with the mirror ghost. It's so interesting. Looks like everything is kind of coming together on these baits right now. We do have one Bear leather. Now I'm going to assume that grass and black carp are mostly Bear. Yeah. So what are people using at Bear? Raspberry, honey pear, kind of the normal Bear stuff, right? Sort of the normal Bear stuff. And then what about black carp? Any Old Berg black carp right now? Yeah. Thought I'd seen some caught there. Raspberry, esterberry, raspberry, esterberry. Bear is strawberry, honey, spicy peach. Look at that. Somebody using the krill salmon combo at Bear as well. That's kind of interesting. For the most part, it's often different boilies that seem to be working different combinations between amber and Bear. But obviously sometimes there's overlap, and maybe sometimes we don't test that enough. So now we're at 4 fish, all of them coming in on the smaller pellets. So if you're actively playing the game, in other words, wanting to catch fish on a regular basis, maybe go with the 18-20, not the 25-20 setup. But if you're tabbed out because you're also playing something else or watching something or distracted by something in real life or whatever, and just wanting to every once in a while try to catch a big fish, then perhaps it is worth using the 25-20. In fact, I've seen some people using this setup actually going even larger hooks. You know, I mean, I would say for the most part with like this size bait, I would normally use large 1 hooks. But I'm doing this just based on a lot of what I'm seeing on VK right now are oversized hooks as well. So I thought, well, I'll try it. But some people are using 3/0, you know, with this bait combo, which again is just like just moving the slider a little bit more towards slower bite rate, but maybe larger fish, maybe, you know. So it's an interesting strategy if your goal is not so much like silver per hour efficiency, but if your goal is more like, I want to hit the big one and I don't care how long it takes, I'm just hanging out, whatever. Seems like that's how some people approach it, but I would imagine they're also doing the whole reset thing, a lot of them. Maybe you fish it for an hour, hour and a half, reset, you know, log out, log in, or travel or whatever, because you're trying to reset the amount of PVA, you know, and spod that might be in the water so you don't overfeed. And then I know some people will still sit in these carp spots even when it has slowed down, with the belief that even though you're catching less fish, sometimes I think people seem to think that, and I haven't seen this myself, but I haven't done a lot of testing to this aim, but people seem to think that once you've fished the spot down a little bit so it's not as active, maybe what's left are the rares. Not exactly, but you know, maybe your percentage of catching rares goes up slightly. I'm not sure about that, but I've heard people kind of talk like that before. So 9 minutes, 4 fish. We hope, again, as we go into the morning here, that bite rate will pick up at least a little bit, especially if you are wanting a more active experience. rarely for me is this the way I want to approach. Now, I mean, there are times that maybe I am playing something else or doing something else, and I wouldn't mind this kind of deal. But I usually, if I'm approaching a spot, I want to find a way to increase the bite rate, even if the average size is a little lower at times. In my experience, well, first of all, it's just more fun to me. And then also, it seems like you make better silver if you can move that needle a little bit more towards catching fish more often. And you still occasionally have the big ones come in. You're just not like sitting on the big ones, basically. All right, this one's a little bit better, maybe. At least than the first two. Okay, now we're starting to get 2 bites at the same time. It's a good sign. It's daytime. The carp are getting hungry. All right, it is another common. I think this will be the largest common we've gotten. Let's see if it's larger than the mirror. I think it's going to even be a little bit larger than the mirror. I don't remember what the mirror size was, but it feels like it might be. So this is 13.3. The mirror was 8.8. Yeah. So pretty nice fish coming in. Oh, this is something tiny. Spoke too soon. You almost hope this is non-carp, like an eyed. What else would these baits? Maybe like a really nice barbel or an eyed or something. Nah, it's just like a 3 or 4 kilo common, I think. Not the end of the world, but for this time of day, you hope for something a little bigger. So we're now at 6 fish. Just over 12 minutes. We're already getting another nibble. And again, if we didn't have the mammoth pellets over here, overall this would probably feel like a pretty crazy bite rate, right? If you added in another whole rod, whole another rig of catching fish. I mean, our first rig right now is dead. But I'm really curious, the first time we get a bite over there, what will it be? This is a grass carp, by the way. Speaking of grass carp. All right. That's disappointing. We went through such a long time not getting any bites on this rod, and then first fish is kind of a dud. That is really too bad, huh? Come on now. I mean, there's an obvious difference in the bite rate between what it was like overnight now that it's daytime. Huge improvement in bite rate, but not the fish we were hoping to see on this setup with as long as we waited for it. All right, let's see if we can get one more fish in. And we'll call it there. I mean, it definitely seems like an active spot still. I mean, obviously it is. There's so many different reports on VK about it. I do think the ones that talk about using corn here would probably be more fun. The bite rate's going to be crazy good, but you're going to be getting a ton of small common carp. So it just depends on, I mean, obviously if you're doing that, you probably want to use the cheaper PVA bag size and all that, but your just volume of fish is going to be so much higher with those, corn approaches. So it just kind of depends on what bite rate you want, how active a spot you want. But this seems pretty good. And trophies and big rares and stuff are definitely coming out here, so seems like it's worth it. We can I'll tell you what, let's do. Let's go check the cafe, because I didn't look at the cafe, and then we'll come back out. If there's a fish on our line, we'll come back out, catch one more fish. Good old Amber. Mirror trophy, common barbel trophy. I'm not sure if the barbels are coming out right now, but we're using the right baits to catch barbel. Eyed as well. So it seems like that would be possible. Just don't know how active the barbels are at the moment. I bet they're there though. They usually are in that spot especially when you're using the fishy baits. That's over 100 silver in 19 minutes. It's hard to complain much about that. And overall, it's probably just going to get better during daytime fishing. Oh yeah, let's see if there's actually a fish on here. Yeah. We'll go see what we've caught. Is there also a fish on the third line, or did we just not tighten it up? Maybe we didn't tighten it up. Oh, nope. It's going. Okay. So we got a couple more fish. Yeah, look at this bite rate right now. I mean, we just put that back in the water. Already got another fish on it. I mean, if this is what it would be like during the day, it's pretty insane, right? Especially with these baits. Oof. Someone just caught a common barbel in chat. I mean, I don't know for sure, but there's a pretty good chance they're fishing here because a lot of people are. It doesn't look like it's a mirror, does it? It is a mirror. Okay. All right. Well, there you have it. Seems like a solid spot to me. I may keep fishing here a little bit longer, but we're going to go ahead and wrap up the video now. As always, thanks for watching. Let me know how it's going here for you. I mean, I haven't been putting the time in. I've been working on that leveling series so much. I've kind of gotten away from some of our normal spots in terms of our main account, or hitting some of the hot spots recently. But just from everything I'm seeing and hearing, it seems like this spot's been really good for folks. So how's Amber been treating you? All right, folks, tight lines. I'll see you next time.